every time we get together here in the Northeast and it being wintertime, we have this nasty gray overcast. So the first tip that you're going to share with us, or one of the many first tips, is seeing light and the quality of light. Can you give us an example of what you mean by that?
I can, but I'd like to just preface this whole thing by saying we know that there's 5 segments of my process, and as we progress on into me sharing the videos, we're going to bounce around from segment to segment. But I felt very strongly that I wanted to start out with a segment on lighting. So here's a perfect example right here of a scene that I made only 4 years into my career as a black and white artist. And I think it really illustrates what light does. Now, look at this egg-shaped rock here. Because of the light and the direction of the light is low in the sky and it's coming from the left side, you actually get a roundness to that rock. And, you know, I learned from a photographer, a very famous photographer long ago. He says, Steve, he said, we photographers are charged with capturing a 3-dimensional world and presenting it in a 2-dimensional medium. Now, how do we do that? We do that with spatial relationships, where you see these triangular shapes of shadows and whatnot, but also with a roundness and a direction of light that gives the impression that something is round. And, you know, this particular scene is long before I knew anything about pyro or minimal agitation or any of these tricks that I use nowadays. This is all a product of light. The light skimming across this sand, the fact that the water at some point had rolled down this area of sand and has created peaks and valleys, because the light's skimming across it in the manner that it does, you get this undulating feeling of depth and near and far, and it's a product of light. And, you know, I've been in very many conversations with world-class printers and photographers, and almost to a man they say, the secret to a world-class photograph is a world-class printer. I'm here to argue you need to be a good printer, but you need to have world-class light. And that right here is what I call world-class light. 4 years into my black and white career, and I get that kind of texture in sand and those kinds of shapes, I'm still surprised 35 years later that I saw something like that. I hope this helps you in your quest.